Hello, welcome to Cerulean Arts Gallery. Tonight we're speaking with Mashiul Chowdhury in conjunction with his Cerulean Arts Collective Exhibition, which is on view now through June 2nd. Hello, Mashiul.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Tina.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for this wonderful opportunity of showing my work and also talking with the audience and you and both of you.
It's our pleasure. So tell us a bit about yourself and the show.
So I guess this is my fifth show at Cerulean Art Gallery, and
Yeah,
I'm
you've been with
very
us for a
humble.
long time. Yeah, from the
Yeah,
beginning, I think.
I'm so honored and humble. So very excited and happy. So if I think my background is kind of important to really appreciate my work. Uh, Although some of this works doesn't need any explanation, but if um, where I'm from, what actually drives me to do this kind of work, I think that would be more interesting. So I'm originally from Bangladesh. I grew up in a city called Dhaka, and which is one of the most busy and chaotic, vibrant, and very energetic city. So my younghood actually spent observing the urban life and urban, the activities. So I'm always interested in observing the population in the urban city, what they are and what they do actually. So, it goes back to my younghood where I grew up and observing things. And then I wanted to also express this in terms of the different media. So it goes back to my passion for photography, passion for drawing, and then painting. So these are the things all together, actually. So I, if you go to a city, actually, you see on the wall, on the pavement, there are a lot of activities and expression of human beings, the urban dwellers. They do and they leave those marks, actually, not necessarily to make any artwork. I'm not talking about the graffitis and other works. Those are by itself is an, any a sort of artwork, but I'm talking about something that actually not in the intention of making art. Those are the markings and the posters and the slogans, and they live on this wall and pavement and around this environment in the city. So if you look at those things very carefully, and you see those are the memories of people, memories and their, the what they actually. I mean, what I'm trying to say that if you go to a city like this, and where lots of the markings and the walls, posters and things like that, slogans happening, you can actually feel the pulse of the city, pulse of the urban dwellers. And those are the layers of their memories, layers of their activities. And that always fascinates me. That always fascinated me, still fascinates me. So I go around and take photos and closely take all those photos, and then, and learn from it and get excited by it. So I wanted to share some of these pieces that actually what I'm trying to say. So this is kind of a surface of a bus that actually gets scratched, but it has a lots of layers of colors. Same thing goes this kind of work also. You can see their letters and the colors that actually coming through and then making all the layers. So, when I came to USA, I don't know, maybe 35 years ago, I found that the city of Philadelphia actually kind of make a connection with the city that I grew up. it has the same quality of, the very energetic, vibrant city and a lot of activities there. So I, and then Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, I started going there since I think 2004 or 5, learned drawing, live drawing and everything. So this landscape, the urban landscape, that I actually seriously started doing, I would think that, probably like in around 2005 and 6, I used to go out with my friend, Martin Campos, to, different areas of Philadelphia city, particularly Manayunk we started with, very early in the morning, when the sunlight is actually very important, between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning. You capture the sunlight, and I do a lot of drawing on site, plein air drawing on the sketchbook, and those are the studies actually I've been doing for the past I would say about 20 years, and then I bring those work in my studio, and try to capture that moment, try to capture that mood, which is kind of a reference in my sketchbook. So I take a photo, I take also, I do a lot of sketches, and then basically I do the studio drawing, which you are seeing right now in the exhibition. So these pieces in the exhibition, those are basically studio painting. I think we have about 28 paintings in there, and these are done between 2000 and now, basically. So this is basically in a summary, the background of my approach and what I do. So yeah, that's what it is.
So Mashiul, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So the surface of your paintings is very rich and textured and layered. Are you trying to replicate what you've seen on the streets, like growing up, that kind of evidence of humanity, and like replicating it in your painting, or does it come out separately? I mean, where does it come from?
Yes. So I would say replicate, but I would say that I kind of influenced and by the images that I see in the urban life. So as you can see that the images that I showed you and the photographs and the that we talked about the wall, they have a layers of paints. And what does it mean actually? It means that you have a layers of memories, layers of the love, pain, and suffering, joy, many things. It actually is the story of urban life. It is probably the largest canvas in the world that you see all the time, without people are doing it, and it's created without intention of making artwork. So I learned from that process. There is obviously a process which fascinates me, because that process is very natural and organic, and it's spontaneous. So when I learned from that kind of process, and I try to use that process in my painting, but I do not replicate one particular area or image. If you look at any images, any of this painting, for example, the one that you see right now, it has some kind of shape, some kind of, in the top, there is a tank, water tank, and then the style of the paints on there, on the surface, it reminds you the thing that you see on the walls. So that actually always in my mind, always back of my mind, and the process that I just described, that's the thing that I follow. So I feel like if I can continue to do that, for example, just a marking without any thinking, any premeditated ideas. Actually, if you put down this paint, it becomes very spontaneous. It has a lot of energy there. So that's what I follow actually.
So are you working on multiple paintings at the same time?
Yes, as you can see on my back in my studio, I have actually always, I have like, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 pieces in my studio. So one one thing is that my pieces are small, so it actually works works well with me actually, because I can work in a small space with a lot of pieces. So I have the images of the city, different part of the city. Those are in front of me, and then I do a lot of drawing, and then I have pieces that actually evolves all the time. So some of them like probably week old, some of them probably like a month old, some of them probably a couple of years actually. I get frustrated with a lot of pieces, and because some of them may not go anywhere, it just stays there, and I don't know where to go actually. So I keep drawing, I keep looking at some of the pieces that I never able to go back and do something. So I just live there. When the time comes, on the right time comes, the right moment comes, I probably go there and make some markings, put some paint, and then I let it dry. And then I use a lot of sanding. I use a lot of sanding. If you can see that, you can feel that, and make a lot of markings. And then once it's dry, then I put another layer of paint. So it's a lot of thinking process, a lot of drawing in it, and then a lot of spontaneity also. I never actually stay with one painting and then try to finish it. And I really don't want to finish the painting. That's usually not in my head actually. I keep working on these until I'm satisfied that probably I should stop there. So that's usually the case in my studio. So I have lots of pieces around me. Always I'm exchanging my ideas with them. I have a lot of dialogue and conversation with them, and and whenever I feel like I have to do something on this piece and that piece, I just go there and do some paint, put some paint, scratch something and sanding something there. So that's why it evolves. It is basically continues to evolve.
So the appearance of spontaneity doesn't mean it was completed in one session. It's moments of spontaneity over a long period of time, and contemplation.
Absolutely. There are a lot of improvisation, contemplation, and it goes over time. But you feel like I'm sure that every painters, and you feel that kind of moment actually. You don't want to always try to work on single piece. It got bored and you don't know what to do actually. So I there are a lot of time that I just look at them. I don't do anything, like I said, but whenever the moment comes, I go there and just execute. So that's how it goes. And many times, like for example, this piece that Tina is showing, this one is actually very interesting because it has a lot of maybe like, I don't know, 12, 15 trial of images from the beginning. So this particular one, I had a lot of images which has nothing to do with this final image actually. It was it came out like after 2-3 years of continuous back and forth, and then finally I finished this piece actually. So yeah, it has a lot of moments that actually that I don't want to do anything, just look at them. Sometimes I just leave it and don't look at it at all, and then take a breath and just come out and come back and return with a very fresh mind and do something. So yeah, this one, one of my favorite places is actually this Chester area, which is not a very popular area, but you see that this structure that you see these days, if you go to North Philly and Chester and some other areas. So it is near airport, and there's a road called Industrial Highway. I've been there many times and take photos and do sketches. But you see all these red buildings, beautiful color. So yeah, I'm always fascinated by those structures actually.
So I'm wondering about your thoughts on the Philadelphia area landscape. There's a lot of industrial buildings that aren't in use anymore, and not a lot of people around them. And how does that compare with where you come from, where the population is density is much higher? I mean, is there a difference in looking at the landscape that way, where here is it more desolate and depopulated? Because there's not a lot of people in your painting, really. It's mostly structure.
Correct. Yeah, there's some similarities. There's some differences actually. My younghood, the city of Dhaka has a lot of, it's a chaotic, a lot of people. It is lots of energy, but the landscape that actually I saw when I was there is completely different now. If you go to that city now, it has a lot of apartment buildings, and it kind of there's not a similar kind of landscape that you see in Philadelphia. Also, we see the change actually. Those red buildings are there if you go to North Philadelphia, but with the gentrification and new apartment buildings, it's actually started to go away. I think my fascination is for the buildings, not like in the center city, but in areas where, like you said, the red buildings where people are not there, and a kind of a rough area, but that has irregularities, and the structure actually and the color that actually attracts me a lot. And there's memories, there's a pain, there's a suffering, there's a joy. It's a lot of things, stories that reminds me where I'm coming from actually. And the landscape is interesting actually. Landscape always changes. I know that there is a very famous contemporary artist called Judy Mehretu, and she actually always says the landscape, there's nothing called landscape. Landscape is always a political, and because people change, the government change, the city change, how the landscape is going to look like actually if you are living in the urban area. So and that's what we see now. So I don't know how long my subjects is gonna stay,
Right.
and how long I'm gonna find the subjects that I'm fascinated with. But as long as it's there, I'm gonna be there. Yeah, this is a piece that actually one of my favorite. If you probably noticed, and for the audience, that my landscape is not the so-called realism. Actually, it is not completely abstract. It is somewhat abstract, and I wanted to give a sense of what is there actually. I want to give a sense of mystery that actually probably is interesting to me. I think it interests the audience actually. I'm always fascinated, and I'm always a follower, I would say, and the time that actually Impressionism and post-Impressionism, that German expressionist, and then American abstraction. So I the way that you see my color, I think I have influence with the German expressionist, and you see that their use of very bright color and very expressive quality actually. And also the painter in India, the Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, if you look at his painting, also is very expressive. And during that same time of German expressionist. So the Ernst Kirchner and Emil Nolde, those work. So I'm always I don't exactly go to complete abstraction, whereas the action and also the paints is more important, take more upper hand than the subject actually. I kind of stay in between, and that's always still gives me a pleasure actually. So but more and more I think it's somehow my work is going a lot more abstract. So I mean, I don't think about it actually. If it goes there, it will go. That's fine. So that's I just wanted to give the sense of the type of work and who influences me. Just want to give you an idea.
Yeah, your work definitely straddles that line between representation and abstraction.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
So it'll be interesting to see where you head.
Yeah, and one other thing that this is probably the first show that where I'm actually showing some of my larger work that I started mainly by 6x6 and then go to 8x8, and for a long time I've been doing that, but this time I was courageous enough to go larger. So yeah, I think I don't know whether I'm gonna be successful or not, but this is a challenge that I love to take a challenge, and that I wanted to see where it leads me to.
And how did it feel to go a bit larger?
I think the two has two different feelings actually. So small one is very personal, intimate. When I go large, you can actually merge yourself into that actually. That has a different kind of appeal. Something that I feel when I go to museum, I see Mark Rothko's work. You can actually merge into this actually, and to those kind of work. So yeah, I mean, I have interest in doing a large work, but I just don't know how to do it actually, and where to go and where to start. So
Right.
Something that I'm experimenting now, and I'm taking it as challenge, and I love it. I love doing that.
Well, it's a wonderful show, Mashiul. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you and Tina displayed the work so fantastically. I mean, it looks really nice. great
Thank you.
composition.
The show's up through June 2nd. We hope people will come down and see it. It's also available, everything's available on our website, ceruleanarts.com. And thanks for being here tonight, and have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.